there. 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 And all the answer there. Because like I say, there's no point in trying to fix it right now if you did this totally wrong. Okay? And I know I didn't show you exactly that. But everyone has the math chops to figure that out if you'd stopped and think about it, right? Okay. No decimals. Never again will you have a decimal from there unless you are needing to seek an actual number in real life, like I was talking to Karen about. Right? No more decimals. No more calculators. You do not use them again to find a square root ever in math class. Do I make myself clear? Okay. Please turn to page 104. We are going to do something with this. Now, I just said that we weren't going to be using our calculators again, but we need to right now, because if you see what I'm about to do with your calculator, you will actually be able to do this whole page completely by yourself. Okay? Now, rational exponents. Remember, rational means they are in this form, right? So, if it's a rational exponent, that means this 1/2 is the exponent, correct? So everybody with your calculator, do this as you would on a calculator, which is 9, exponent button. Then please do this, what I'm about to do. Push bracket, 1 divided by 2, bracket equals. And tell me the answer. 3. Now, do the same thing with 27. 27, exponent button, 1 divided by 3. 3. Then do the same thing with 625. Exponent button, 1 divided by 4. And it will equal 5. Now, everybody look carefully. You can see that there is a relationship here between 9, 1/2, and 3. Is there anything else that we have done that relates 9 to 3? Square root, right? All of you are good students of logic, right? So that means that 9 to the 1/2 equals 3. What else equals 3 when we're dealing with 9? Square root of 9 also equals 3. Which means if 9 to the 1/2 equals 3 and square root of 9 equals 3, what do we know about 9 to the 1/2 and square root of 9? That they two are equal, right? Now, apply that logic to the red situation. 27 to the 1/3 equals what? Equals 3. What else equals 3 from 27? Cubed root of 27 equals 3, yes? Which means 9, not 9, you idiot. 27 to the 1/3 equals cube root of 9. I just did it again. Cubed root of 27. Yes? Everybody cool? No, you just need to understand what we've written there. I haven't asked if you see the pattern yet. Does everybody understand why 9 to the 1/2 equals the square root of 9? Why not? Do you understand that 9 to the 1/2 equals 3, which we got from our calculator? That doesn't matter for exponents. 9. Push 9. Push the exponent button. Push bracket. Push 1. Push divided by. push 2, close brackets, push equals. Exactly what I told you to punch in. It looks like this. It is either a mountain, like that, or it is x to the y, or it is y to the x, or it is x to a blank box, or it is y to a blank box. The mountain. So instead of x to the y, she will hit the mountain button. Bring me your calculator. Nine, mountain, bracket, 1 divided by 2, bracket, enter. Exactly what I told you to punch in.
Got it.
Funny how when I tell you to punch something in and you punch it in, you get the answer. Well,
That is hilarious.
that is, I know. Okay. Back to what I was saying. Do we all understand what is happening here? We all understand why we are able to say that and that, correct? Now, use your brain. 6, I'll do that in green. 625 to the 1/4 must equal what? The 4th root of 625. Nice! Air knuckles. Now, again, using your logical brains, x to the a over b must equal what? Look at everything we've done and see if you can figure out this side of this equation. Jacob. The b root of x to what power? A. Because what's the power that's out here that we don't write? 1. What's the power that's out here that we don't write? 1. What's the power that's out here that we don't write? 1. What's the index here that we don't write? 2. So you can see that when you have a rational exponent, through experimentation, that the base becomes the radicand, the denominator becomes the root, and the numerator becomes the power. Yeah? Yeah. Now, sadly, and I do not know why, your book printed this B here instead of over here where it's supposed to be. So I'm just going to go ahead and erase that B. And I'm going to write it right in here. 27, what was it, to the 4/3? To the 4/3. Now, I'm starting with a very difficult one on purpose because every single one of you is saying, oh my God, I got to go to my calculator. Are you allowed to go to your calculator? No. So let's sort this out. What about A bothers you? The decimal. But isn't that decimal 4/100ths? Okay. Now all of that is to the 3/2. What is the base there? 4/100ths. So the base becomes the radicand, right? What is the denominator there? So 2 becomes the root or the index. What is the numerator there? 3. So 3 becomes the power. What is the square root of 4/100? 2/10. And all that is to what power? 3. We already know this exponent law, don't we? You don't even need it taught to you. What is 2 cubed? 8. What is 10 cubed? 1,000. Now I'm done. But the answer was the question was in decimal, so what should I do with this? 0.008. Everybody cool? Okay. Let's do this next one. I'm going to do it in red. It's going to get a little crowded because of the weird printing, but it's not that hard. The base is what? 27. So 27 becomes the radicand. Right? What root do I seek? 3. And then what will I put that whole thing to the power of? 4. What is the cubed root of 27? 3 to the 4th power, which is? What's 3 times 3? 9. What's 3 times 3 again? 9. So what's 9 times 9? 81. Is everybody good? That is the only piece of concept that you need for all of today. Everything else is old news. All right? All right. So let's look at C. C bothers me a little bit. It scares me. What do I have there and there? I have 2 exponents separated by what? A bracket. So what do? Multiply. This is why it scares me. I'm going to ask the whole class what 1/3 times 2 is. What is it? Try again. 2/3. No, I heard a bunch of people not say that, which is why it makes me die a little bit inside. It is 8 to the 2/3, because of course 1/3 times 2 is 2 over 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 1 is 3. When I get to there, do I know what to do? Does that look exactly like everything else we've done today? Right. It didn't there, did it? I had to change it. Did I have to change it with any new knowledge? No. I had to change it with old knowledge. Now I have to use some new knowledge. That new knowledge took 1 second to learn, right? It took punching 3 things into your calculator to figure it out, right? So, the 8 is the base, so what's the radicand? 8. What root do I seek out of that radicand? 3. What power will I put that root to? 2. What is the cube root of 8? 2 squared. What is 2 squared? 4. And that's my final answer. Everybody good? Everybody's good? All right. Attempt D all by your lonesome. Go. No calculator. Everybody ready? What about D bothers you? Decimal, but we know how to fix that, don't we? What is it? 49 over 100 to the 1/2, which is 49 over 100 square root to the 1st power. What's the square root of 49 over 100? 7 over 10. Questions in decimals, so what should my answer be? Which is 0.7. Now that, of course, should give you another shortcut, yes? 2 decimal place, square root. It's the square root of 49, but with only 1 decimal place, right? Right above it was the square root of 0.4. 2 decimal places. Square root of 4 is 2 with 1 decimal place. 2/10, 0.2. Everybody cool? Sweet. All right. What's different about E? But really, nothing's different about E, is it? Because what bothers you about E, Micah? You don't like that exponent. It's a decimal. But when the base was a decimal, we just changed it to a fraction, didn't we? Yeah. So what should we do when the exponent's a decimal? Change it to a fraction. What is that as a fraction? 15 over 10 is fine. But would you ever hand that as an answer to Mrs. Bad Crumble? No. What would you do? Simplify it to 3 over 2. So that is 16 to the 3 halves. Now you can do this in your sleep, right? What's the base? 16. So what's the radicand? 16. What's the denominator? 2. So what's the index? 2. What's the numerator? 3. So what's the power? 3. What's the square root of 16? 4 cubed. 64. Sweet. What makes F difficult? A decimal. What should I do with every decimal I see? Make it into a fraction. See how I am making you people conquer your fear of fractions by dealing with them? Yeah. I'm glad. What is that? 75 over 100, which is 3/4, because 75 cents is 3/4. So that is 81 to the 3/4. What's the base? 81. So what's the radicand? 81. What's the denominator? 3. Denominator. 4. So what's the index? 4. What's the numerator? 3. So what's the power? 3. What's the 4th root of 81? Mr. Myers, I don't know the 4th root of 81. Oh, but Mr. Myers fortunately has taught me how to simplify radicals. Isn't that 9 times 9? And isn't that 3 times 3 times 3 times 3? Yes. And isn't that a group of 4? Yes. So what comes out? 3. To what power? 3. And what's 3 cubed? 27. That's it. Now, if you walked up to somebody on the street and said, dude, what's 81 to the 3/4 power? They couldn't do it. And then you would do this, and they would be like, you're a wizard, Harry. And you'd be all like, Wingardium Leviosa. And then they'd all be like, it's Wingardium Leviosa, not Leviosa. And then you'd be all like, shut up. And then they'd cry, and then you'd want to be their best friend. Right? I know, it happens all the time. Why have I done this? When at the very beginning of this page, I said, you're not going to use your calculators anymore. Why did I do this? Because just like the real world, will every number work out nicely? No. You know what this is. This is the 5th root of 8 squared, isn't it? But 8 does not have a 5th root, does it? Does 8 have a square root? No. 8 square root is 2 root 2, right? Does 8 have a cubed root? Yes, it's 2. Does 8 have a 4th root? No, there's no group of 4 I can take out of 8. If there's no group of 4 I can take out of 8, is there a group of 5 I can take out of 8? No, of course not. So when you cannot do it, but you still need a value, what do you have to do? Go to your calculator. And to run this on your calculator, you would do just like we did up top. 8, exponent button, 2 divided by 5. Everybody cool? Because in the real world, you still need a number. And we use exponents in the real world all the time, especially in finance. Do all of you plan to have some money in your life? At some point. I used to talk like that, Marcus. My wife and I, when we were kids, she'd be like, well, pretty soon, eventually we'll own a house. I was like, no, we won't, Catherine. We're going to be broke forever. We're idiots. Turns out, being an idiot in North America still lets people loan you money, and you can still get a house. But if you don't understand what that means, you're going to be screwed. So be careful. Huh? I don't even care. What is? How do I feel about rounding? Mixed feelings. Yeah. If I wasn't wearing my glasses, rounding with grade 10s makes me want to stab my pen in my eye. That's why I wear glasses, to protect my vision. But today I'm not, so nobody is allowed to ask me questions that would make me want to stick something in my eye, because I might lose my eye. Which is when I find out how many people like me, because people ask questions like, what should I round to? Or when I ask this, what's 7 plus 18? And they reach for their calculator. That makes me want to stab myself in the eye too. It's another way I check how my class feels about me.
Yeah, but you could just be having like a, you just can't think. When they like go to grab their calculator for 7 plus 18. It's just one of those days you don't want to. Yeah.
You don't think that makes me want to stab myself in the eye? That 30 of the people that are going to be taking care of me when I am old don't want to think right now?
Right.
What's René Descartes' famous saying? I think, therefore I am. Without thinking, you don't exist. Because to be fair, Nick, you cannot prove that you exist in any way. Therefore, the only proof you have is your thinking about your existence. So if you choose not to think, what are you choosing not to do? Exist. So I would not recommend having many moments when you don't feel like thinking for the rest of your life.
Okay.
Or you won't have, technically, a rest of your life. What about this one? It's barfy, right? Because we can't do it. You're like, oh, Mr. Myers, I got you. That's 6/10. You're not fooling me. Which is then, okay, that means it's the 7th root of 6/10 to the 15th power. 6/10 does not have a 7th root. So what do we have to do if we needed a value here? We must go to our calculator. It's something like 0.033. Crap, who cares? The same way you did this with your calculator. The base, 0.6. The exponent button, bracket, 15 divided by 7. Everybody good? And whatever it is, it doesn't matter because the important thing is punching it in. It's like 0.033 or some crap. Or 0.33. I don't remember because it doesn't matter. Everybody good? All right, turn the page over. There are 3 questions there that use this equation. Before you do any work, one of those 3 is doable completely without a calculator. Is it A, B, or C? It is A. Why? Because 27 has a cubed root. So let's work A through in our heads where math should be done. Brain equals 0.01 times M, 27, to the 2/3. What do I do first? Multiply or exponents? Bedmass, I do exponents first. So 0.01, and this exponent is the cubed root of 27 squared. I still have exponents to work with. 0.01. What is the cubed root of 27? 3 squared. I still have an exponent to work with. What's 3 squared? 9. 0.01 times 9. And you can do that in your head because 9 times 1 is 9. And I need 2 decimal places, right? The decimal's right there now. 1, 2. What goes in the hole? 0. Everybody should be good there. Everybody should know. No, do you have to be that fast? No, but you should be able to follow, yeah? And you should all have been able to tell me why that worked. And why it worked was 27 at a cube root, yes? Okay. Will the B one work? No, it won't. Okay? I am now a scientist. I need to report to the science dude above me what a polar bear's brain mass is. Am I able to say to him, oh, it's going to be like 7 times the root of 18 squared? No, I must give him a value, yes? So because 200 does not have a cube root, if I was going to do this in real life, I got to break up my calculator, don't I? So in real life, it would be 0.01 times 200 to the 2/3. I look at that and I say to myself, 200 doesn't have a cube root. So I got to go to my calculator. And then I just punch it in. 0.01 times 200, exponent button, bracket 2 divided by 3 equals. And that will get me an answer, a real life answer. What is it? 0.34. Which makes sense, doesn't it? Because if a human brain is that big, a polar bear brain should be bigger, yeah? Okay, now, that's a real life answer, right? Are we in real life right now? Where are we? Math class. Do I want in math class some crazy, stupid, long, unending, irrational decimal? No, because it's not 0.34, is it? It's 0.3475930. For how long? Ever and ever and ever and ever. From the greatest TV show ever. iCarly.
What's the greatest TV show ever?
iCarly. I love iCarly. Now, this is no good in real life. In real life, this is 0.01 times the cube root of 200 squared, yes? Right? Everyone agree? 200 is really 8 times 25, isn't it? What's the cube root of 8? 2. So that would be 2 cube root 25, correct? Everybody with me? And that would be squared, yes? Everybody still cool? 0.01. What's 2 squared? 4 cube root. What's 25 squared? 625. Are we still cool? Remember, we're in math class. What would I do with 625 right there? Starts with an S, ends with a Y. Simplify. That is 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, right? Right? Is there a group of 3? So, what comes out? 5. What's already out there? 4. So that's 0.01 to what? 20 cube root 5. Now, what's 0.01 times 20? 0.2, right? 2 decimal places. 0.2 cube root 5. That's your math class answer. Now, to everybody who just packed up, guess what's going to be on your test? Math class. This is math class questions.